Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So I have a little disclaimer first. I did not create this. I was actually stalking the YouTube channel of another demonstrator who is in the same team that I am on. Her name is Nina Suggs, and her YouTube channel is Walla Stamping. It's W-A-L-L-A, or Walla? I think it's Walla Stamping. I always want to say Walla. Maybe it's because I can remember it easier that way. So she's the one who, I found her video, and as soon as I saw this, I knew I had to make it. I kind of have a little thing for 3D purses. I don't do too many 3D items, but I like the 3D purses. Oh, yes, that would be perfect if you have a purse fetish. That's something. I buy a purse and it lasts for a couple years, and I finally give in and get a new one because it's ratted and torn and almost embarrassing to carry. So, okay. So now that I've kind of gotten that out of the way, this is the smaller version. Like I said, she had two versions, and I'm almost embarrassed to bring this one out, but I wanted to show you the size difference. This was kind of my fail. I wasn't thrilled with the way the paper combination came together with this one, so I didn't even finish it. But it is a little bit bigger, and if you go onto her YouTube channel, she has the dimensions for both, but she actually demonstrates the larger one. And then I will be posting my Facebook Live video to YouTube and to my blog with dimensions and scoring stuff, whatever it's called, on Friday. So if you want to check back and see that. But in the meantime, if you want to, make it, check out Nina's blog too. So let's go through the supplies quick. Oh, and I wanted to share with you my wine that I have tonight. When I was in Oklahoma, my cousin Becky, her husband brought some handmade wine, and I believe it's blackberry, and it has really good flavor. I'm kind of a sweet wine girl, so I'm really enjoying this, and it's kind of even more fun knowing that that Mark took the time to make it and bottle it. I should have brought the bottle down because it's a really beautiful kind of almost cobalt blue bottle that he put it in. So this is my little wine of choice for tonight. So I am going to stick that aside so I don't spill it. So for supplies for this little purse, I'm just going to set this over here. I used the medium-sized button from the Classy Designer Buttons, and they are all this very vanilla color. They're really pretty. And then I used the Dapper Denim Enamel Shapes from the 2016-2018 in colors. And this is a brand new in color that's going to be coming out in the catalog in June. So I think it's my favorite. It's called Lemon Lime Twist. And I just absolutely love it with the Dapper Denim. It's definitely my new favorite color combination. So that's what we're going to be using to stamp the flower. And then I did use a couple of these pearls. And then my new favorite die set, which is in the Eastern Palace Suite. And I just wanted to mention quick that this is going to be an early release, and it will come out May 1st through 31st in 2 different bundles. And then it will be released in the new catalog, but it'll come out in the like a la carte items. So these Eastern Medallion Thin Lids dies is what I made the flower with, and then the Eastern Beauty stamp set which goes with it. Love, love, love these. All right, so let's get down to paper. For this size, you're going to need, it's a 6.5 by 7 3/4. Whatever pattern paper you want to use. And then for the lid, oh, you know what, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, that's right. I didn't write these measurements down, but I know them. And then this is for the outer oval, which is also 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then just a couple of scraps to be able to stamp and cut the flower out. One is in Very Vanilla and then Dapper Denim. And they are both 2.5 by 2.5. They'll probably be a little bit bigger for what we need, but they'll work. And then this little strip for the handle is 3/8 of an inch by 5.5. Let me see, strap. Yeah, 5.5 inches by 3/8. So, let's get started, and we are going to score this first. So let me make sure my scoring is, I think I might actually have to bring it down here. And I don't have the Simply Scored scoring tool yet, so I just use my trimmer and the bone folder. I'm going to wait and see if I'm in, there's a delay, so I got to wait and see. There it is. Okay, so let's start with, I'm trying to see here, the small. I have my directions for the large and the small written here. All right, so the 7 3/4 inch, so the longer the landscape side, you're going to score it at 2 1/4 and 5.5. And then you're going to turn it to the 6.5 inch side, and that is going to get scored at 2 1/4 and 4 1/4. And then what you're going to do is, I'm trying to think of what would be, I'm going to move my trimmer up here because I can score a little bit better down here. So we're going to stay on the 6.5 inch side. And what we're going to do is, there's the score lines that we already made. I might just kind of fold those so I can show you quick. But what we're going to do is we're going to do another score line that's going to meet up with this scored line here. And that is going to be at 1 3/4. You're going to just find that little score line and score there, and then 4 3/4. And again, you're going to find where your score line is and go down from that. So hopefully that's about right. Yep. And then you're going to flip it and you're going to do the same on the other side. So again, find your little score line, 1 3/4, and then 4 3/4. All right, so we're done with the paper trimmer, and then we're just going to find our little score lines, and I'm just going to run my bone folder across it just to make sure it has a nice crease. And you don't have to. The designer series paper is thin enough, but I kind of like having that nice crease. And then we're going to oh, I can't. Burnish, that's what it's called. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and you're going to cut up to this score line here. Like that. And you're going to do that with all the rest of this one. And then we're going to flip it and do it on the other side. Hopefully I'm not coming out of camera too much. It's kind of hard to see with the lighting in here. And then you're going to come up on that second score line that we made, and you're just going to trim up to there. And then these are going to become our flaps that we're going to adhere together. So then you're just going to take off the corners of it. And we're going to do that to all 4. I suppose if I had longer scissors, it wouldn't take as long, but all right. Hope you guys are all having a good night. We just kind of got away from having some pretty major storms that just went, I don't know, I think just to the south of us. So there was large hail and damaging winds. So we don't have a garage, so I was kind of thankful that the hail didn't come through because I don't really have anything protecting my car. Okay, so we'll get that out of the way. And then what you have is this. So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to fold these ends in just to kind of give them a nice little crease. And then we're going to put adhesive on these little flaps here. So I'm going to get out my big gun. And you want to have a good, you know, sturdy adhesive. So the Fast Fuse works really nice. The tear and tape. But I hate to say it, but I kind of like this, the adhesive that I have in my tape gun too. So that's what I'm using tonight. I'm such a bad demonstrator, huh? What did you miss, Jan? Hi, Jan. Well, I showed how to, oh, here, I'll show you. Well, this is the project. And I just got done scoring and then cutting for the little purse. So this is, and I forgot to tell you guys the measurements. It's about 3 1/4 inches across and then 2 inches wide there and just about 2 inches tall. So it's got a nice little size to put little trinkets or candy in it. So this is what we're doing. So now what we're going to do is you're just going to fold up the corners to match. And don't worry, my scoring sometimes is a little off. And then the first one I made, like I swear, not all of my corners met up at the top. They were kind of uneven. But your little top goes over it, so in the long run, no one will notice. And it'll all be good and I'll be covered up. So we're just going to fold all of these up just like that. And so then basically you're just going to have a little box or a little bag. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the, oh, thanks. Thank you, Rhonda. Oh, goodness. Oh, you cleaned house all day, Rhonda. Oh, that sounds like fun. I need to clean house. We ended up, my hubby and I ended up going out for a drive and looking for birds. We're those people. We're birders. So it's actually kind of fun. It gets us outside. And now I ended up, my pattern ended up going this way. So I'm thinking that the 6.5 inches that I cut it, I probably should have cut 7.5 or the 7 3/4, so I would have had it like that. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Either way, the pattern's still kind of cute. Okay, so now we need to get out the Big Shot. Make sure that that's in the space. And I'm just going to grab out the Dapper Denim and then this pattern paper. And I probably should have done my stamping so we could cut all at the same time, but we're just going to do it this way. And this is going to be what our lid is going to be. And the oval that I'm using, which I forgot to tell you guys that that's what I was using, the oval that I'm using for the Dapper Denim is from the Stitch Shapes framelits. So you're going to have a nice little stitched look around it. And then the second oval that I used coordinates, it goes in the Layering Ovals framelits dies. So I did use a couple different die sets for this. Now, I think I'm going to, instead of putting this together, I'm going to go ahead and stamp and pull out our Big Shot again, and then we'll finish this up, because it shouldn't take too much longer once everything's cut. Okay. So we're going to get out our Lemon Lime Twist, if I can open it. Did I tell you guys how much I love this color? It's so bright and cheery. Alright, so we're just going to stamp this. Cute, cute. And then pull out our Big Shot again. And we're going to cut, what are we going to do? Yes, we're going to cut this actually twice. So I'm going to cut this piece first, and this is really nice because it just lines up right over where we stamped perfectly. I mean, unless there's user error, which usually I have that. And then this one's going to fit right in here where those petals are. So try not to move it too much. Sorry. This is where I usually fast forward in my videos. Well, okay. So the one thing about the magnetic platform that I've noticed is, you know, your plates start to bow after a while. Like me, if you use it like 10 times a day. And so the magnetic platform, when the plate starts to bow, sometimes, you know, the plate won't lay exactly up against the magnetic platform. And so sometimes you'll get it where like the paper will jump a little bit or the magnet will jump off the paper. So then I'll just flip my plate, or I'll get my other one that's less used and put it towards the center of where the bow is in the plate. Okay, I need to stop messing with this. And then that'll go here. Done. Not going to touch it. Oh, and my handle's all the way on the other side. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, and I forgot. Okay, so there's that one. And then we're going to do the same on the Dapper Denim. And this one I won't have to be as exact because we are just going to cut it out and not have any stamping on it. And I don't think I need, no, I don't. I'm trying to remember how I did that. I think that's all I need. No, I do need to cut the whole thing out. I've been awake since 4 o'clock in the morning. Can I use that as my excuse? All right. Can't remember what I did 14 hours ago. It's that lack of sleep fog. Because I know I've only had a few sips of the wine. Can't be that. All right. So now what you'll have is that. And the reason I did that is because if you cut it without using this outline, then all you're going to have is these little petals in the middle of the square. So you need to use the outline with this in order to get it to cut out like this. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to come around, I'm going to fold my little petals back, and I'm going to get rid of this outer area. Make sure I'm on screen, yep. So that'll all get clipped off. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to fold my petals down, and we're going to snip that part off as well. Because I wanted to add a little bit of color to the inside of my flower when I put it on. And this fit just perfectly. So, just a couple more. Okay, so then that's what you'll have when you're done with that. And then that is just going to get glued onto, and I used the fine tip glue pen. You can use regular adhesive too. I did try the fast fuse on it earlier and found that I almost tore the petals off, so I didn't want to do that again. So just a little bit will work to glue that down. I might put a little more in the center, because you don't want too much where it's going to squish out either. And then that's just going to go directly on top of the other petals. And it'll take just a second to dry. And it might not line perfectly up, but it's pretty darn close. So we'll just kind of give that a good squeeze for a second. And you know what? I think I'm going to let this dry, and we'll go to the oval. So the oval, we're going to, I'm just going to adhere a little bit in the center, and we're going to stick this on here. And this would be easier, and I'll show you once I get my trimmer back out. This would be easier if you had the Simply Scored scoring tool, because what we're going to do is we're going to try to line this up so it's straight. And you want both of these together. Nina explained that if you did them separately, if you scored these two pieces separately, you might not get the scoring lines exactly the same just because it's an oval. So she just put the two together, and I went ahead and adhered them, at least in the center. So then you're going to want to take it and score. So you're going to want to kind of press down pretty good so you get through both of the layers at 1 inch and then at 1 3/8. So, so probably right about there. And my other ones are not perfect either. So, you know, kind of maybe judging by this line, that should be about right there. So when you put this on, if you're just a hair off, which I think I might be a little bit, it's fine because nobody sees the front and the back at the same time. So then you're going to go ahead and just crease this pretty good, and then do the same on the other score line. And then I'm going to go ahead and, oops, everything's falling over here. I shouldn't pile things on top of each other. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just secure this piece down, and then secure this piece down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take and adhere, you're going to put adhesive on this back, well, whichever one you decide is the back or the front. And I put a generous amount of adhesive on here just to make sure it's stuck. And I found that it was easier to lay this down and put my box on top of it, and then it's just going to go butted up against this, you know, inside score line here. I tried doing it holding both of the things at the same time and found that I couldn't get it. It was frustrating me. So this was the easiest way, just laying it down on top of it. And then just fold that over, and you have your little purse front. She used a piece of Velcro on the lid and on the bag itself. And then on another one, because she had two of them, she used those magnets. Well, I didn't have either one, so I just stuck a couple glue dots on it for now, for kind of display purposes right now. But if you were going to give this as a gift, it might be nice to, you know, have something to secure it down a little bit better. But I suppose you don't, you know, you probably don't have to, so I'm just going to kind of squeeze that together so my glue dots stick. Hopefully. So that's that. And then the little, our little handle is, all you're going to do is you're going to take your bone folder and just curl it. And then it just kind of forms that handle all on its own. And then maybe about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or so at each of the bottom, you're going to just kind of take your fingernail and bring it out. And then that's going to get adhered to the top. What do you guys think so far? Are you liking? Think it's pretty easy? Are you going to try it? Alright, so then that's just going to go on your lid. I don't know, probably maybe 1/4 of an inch or less on either side is where I put mine. I just love how it's coming together. It's starting to look like a little purse. And then I just put a couple of pearls on the top to kind of give it a finished look up here. I think pearls and sparkles for me are like a basic in my crafting supplies. Oh, good, Jan. I'm happy. It just, I don't know, these things make me happy to make. Okay. So these little petals will come up. So you just kind of want to gently bring them up and maybe use your, thumb here to help direct it, because there's that, line anyways in there. So these are just going to come up a little bit. And I never remember where I set things on here. And then I'm just going to use a medium flower because it fits almost perfectly in the center of this. And I'm just going to use a little glue dot to put that down. And then I'm going to use the larger of the two little enamel circles, the dots. And that's just going to go in my center, and that'll cover up your little buttonholes. And you could also use a pearl too if you didn't want that blue, but I kind of liked the contrast of the button and the blue enamel dot. And then all you're going to do now is, maybe, if I can get my thing to work, probably could have, well, oh, there it goes, okay. Make sure there's enough adhesive on there. And of course now my little petals are all flat because I had to lay it out. And then I just stuck that here on my front flap. So that's it. That's our project. Pretty simple. Took maybe, oh, I don't know, 20, 25, well, maybe 20 minutes, if that, if I didn't talk so much as I was doing it. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. I really missed it over the last 2 weeks. I did. I couldn't wait to get back to my my Facebook Live. Thanks, Jan. So like I said earlier, if you weren't tuned in, I will have the instructions and my Facebook Live video posted to YouTube, my YouTube channel, and to my blog, but it'll also stay here on my Facebook page.